Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. So good to see your beautiful faces. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Um,
You're welcome.
and to my audience, thank you for tuning in to I Love You Packages, where I share all things to help improve your marriages. And today I have Sandra's mentorship and counseling services to share some goodies with you guys because I'm not an expert. I like to bring the experts to you guys so that, we can have some great marriages going because I know marriages are failing and we don't like to see that. So, yeah, so I have some great mentors here and counselors, and they're going to share some uh, great tips with you guys. I have Sandra here. Sandra, how long have you been doing marriage counseling?
Well, good morning, Sharon. And first, let
Good
me
morning.
say thank you for allowing us this opportunity
Oh, no,
to express some of the
you're
things
so
that
welcome.
we do in this environment called Earth. I've been marriage counseling since 2010.
Okay.
Our marriage and relationships Facebook group started about 7 years ago, 215, 216. Um, it was founded at a dinner
Hmm.
with Robin and Scotty Woods. We were having a dinner and a weekend getaway,
Hmm.
and it was a vision that had been given to me, and I shared it with them, and they thought it was a great opportunity. They have a long history of being married in a healthy marriage, and I just
Awesome.
thought that it would be so beneficial to share that and to be able to give that to the world.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. It's nice how it started with a nice conversation at you said a retreat or something?
Well, Robin, you want to share? I can't remember what we were eating, but
I don't remember what we were eating either, but I do remember that she and her now deceased husband Bernard had
Mm,
come to visit us at our home,
yeah.
and we just discussed so much. They came for a weekend,
Mm.
and we enjoyed them because we live in North Carolina. She's in Florida.
Okay, yeah.
But we've been friends for over 30 some odd years.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, we met in the military.
Oh, wow. Oh, I
Yeah.
have an interview with another couple that saving military marriages. I can't because they need help too. All the
Yes.
traveling. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so you've known each other for quite some time. Did you obviously knew them when your husband was alive? I'm hearing that he's passed.
That's correct.
Okay.
We had been together since 2009,
Mm,
and he's passed away, but we're moving forward. He was a part of
Yes.
our group, but we're still
okay.
mhm, still have a lot to offer.
Yeah. Sure, I'm sure. That's awesome. Um, and so what are some of you guys' marriage techniques? I know you have a spiritual aspect, and what do you bring, Sandra? And then the minister Woods and she can share and his wife.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me start with a little bit of my foundation. My counseling, working with people, my psychotherapy, my helping agent, I always connect that with my biblical calling.
Mm,
Um, Throughout my life, I really started to discover it more in my preteens, where I
mm,
was working with families, friends, strangers. And one thing that I reflect back on is Proverbs 11:14.
mm-hmm.
For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many counselors.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think that's where we're at. So
Right.
with that, to talk about my counseling techniques, I am working on a new modality, and
Mhm.
its abbreviations is M.E.S.S. And M.E.S.S stands for mental, emotional, sexual, and spiritual
Mm.
needs in an intimate relationship. It's essential that you interconnect these in order to understand the person that you're planning on spending your lifetime with.
Mm.
So I use a holistic approach,
Mhm.
applying M.E.S.S to the life and to the relationship.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Yes, that sounds great. You said what the M, I know I heard sex.
M.E.S.S. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sex is a very important components. And the other S was spirituality.
Spiritual. Okay. No, because I only said it because we always focus on physical, mentally, and spiritually,
Hmm.
but that sexual,
Hmm.
yeah, is
Yes,
very important as well.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Especially when you start getting to menopause and all that stuff, but that's a whole nother story, right?
Mhm.
And that's
Yes.
exactly where I'm going with it, because when you
Ooh.
look at those components, it is a mess. If
Hmm.
they are not dealt with, and the focal point is not about that.
Yeah,
Can you know what's my mess, in what am I bringing to this relationship?
I
My
love it.
mess, and then what's your mess?
Right. Hmm.
Exactly. Because with men with prostate issues early in life, especially our Black men,
Hmm.
these are um actually subjects that people don't discuss. Our parents don't teach us about it.
No.
And these subjects need to be discussed among couples,
Mhm.
because when we start out as newlyweds, oh, we can have sex every day, multiple times a day. But
No.
as we age, things change.
Yeah, yeah. I said I never heard my mom share anything about menopause.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
And she's passed away now, and I have so many questions. And I'm like, well, what did she share? Was it really that easy for her? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so I love that. Yeah, and I love that's why I wanted to talk with Sandra because you talked about your post was you have a lot of different backgrounds of counseling. So
Mhm.
I knew that this would be pretty interesting. Yeah. So, okay, you want to talk about the spiritual, Robin and Minister Woods? What
Okay.
some
Yeah.
strategies?
Uh, Now we came about this. We actually been doing marital counseling for about 12 years. We call ourselves relationship specialists. We're not PhD, counselors, but after having 38 years together in marriage and going
That's a
through
long
various,
time.
it is,
Mhm.
Yeah, that
and going
matters.
through
Yes, it does.
various challenges over those 38 years, it caused us to be quote unquote specialists in that area, of course, with additional academic training as well in
Mm,
various aspects of counseling and disciplines. But when you're saying technique, Robin and I have been taught a technique that's been very beneficial. We're sharing it with other couples now who are finding it also to be extremely beneficial when it comes to the breakdown of communication.
mm,
And I'll let Robin sort of explain how we actually demonstrate that to the couples when we have them hold the device when it comes to communication. Because Robin and I feel that the biggest problem that we've encountered over the 12 years we've done this is just that there's no connection because there's a lack of communication. So
mm,
Robin and I have a little motto called communicate to connect and connect to communicate.
Mhm.
So
mm.
therefore,
Awesome.
Rob, could you share with her the technique when there's a breakdown in the communication of the couples and what
Okay.
we use?
So when we counsel, we also share our experiences as well, and why we use such things, and bring it to the people that we know could benefit
Hmm.
with it, especially
Okay.
people who have issues with communicating. I'm a communicator, and I talk a lot. I was one that would talk over him,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so um, to keep me quiet, we went through counseling as well. That
Hmm.
was one of the things that was first introduced to me in the counseling session. we need her to be quiet so he
Oh,
can talk. So I had to actually hold an object.
oh gosh.
He had to hold the object while he spoke.
Uh-huh.
And once he was done, I could speak. I could answer any questions he had, or I could comment about how I felt on what
Mm.
he had said or whatever. But I could not speak as long as I was holding that object. And
Wow.
we have been able to use that in quite a few because in most of the people, we can connect to so many of the people we work with because in most situations, now we have worked with where it was opposite, but most situation, it is the woman that is the most talkative.
Mm. Hmm.
And so, in many people that we have worked with, it is the woman, and we have introduced this to them, and it has actually helped them
Okay.
to the point that even in other situations, one even shared how at work, this is her this is her thing to be quiet. She used it in the opposite direction. So when
Okay.
someone is speaking, she holds the pen
Wow.
so she can understand, okay, that person has the floor. I'm not going to interject until
Hmm.
they're done, that type of thing. So you can not only use these things in your marriage, but outside of your marriage as well.
Wow.
We also use a technique where Scotty likes to people to know why they are the way that they are. Mm-hmm. So he used that temperament analysis
and needs
and a needs assessment,
emotional needs assessments. Yeah.
Hmm.
And once they fill out those charts and we come back to the table in a week or so and discuss it, they'll have a better understanding of why there's different temperaments that pop up all of a sudden, or different triggers that the mate can understand based off of that trigger why that emotion is there. So we help them understand each other better. Sort of what I love in the Bible about Jesus' scripture where he says, take upon my yoke and learn of me. I think as
Hmm.
couples, we need to learn each other because we're two different individuals coming together. So we
Right.
have to learn different temperaments that we bring into the relationship. So that's been a tool that's been very helpful in our years of counseling.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
That.
we also like to use the I statement in so many situations. When I come to Scott and say, you did this, or you made me feel this way, or you this, you automatically puts them on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
want to use the I statement, I feel, or I this. You don't want to say anything that's going to go ahead. As soon as you say that,
Wow.
that
Yeah.
it chokes up, that attitude goes up
Yep.
because it's like, oh, you blaming me?
Yeah. Yep. What a
Yeah.
difference that'll make, because that sounds like the same thing when you say, oh, you never, never, never. My husband always say, no, don't use that word never. You know?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so what a difference to say you make me feel instead of saying, yeah, pointing the finger at
Yeah,
them. Wow.
yeah.
So when you say communication, that women are the most communicative, that we talk the most, is that just talking period, or is that in arguments or disagreements? We can't shut up.
I think it's mostly in disagreements that we carry on. We don't
Okay,
stop. We carry on.
got
But
it.
it's also in other areas as well, as
Mhm.
far as being talkative. We have had a few people that actually the husband was the talker, but in
Mhm.
majority of the people that we have worked with, it has been the woman, and the complaint is he won't open up to me.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I had to learn, be quiet and let him talk, maybe he'll open up to you.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
had to learn this. you know I wouldn't be that blunt and say that to someone I'm working with, be quiet and let him talk, but I would share with them that sometimes we have to be still and we have to listen. We have to not comment until they're done. you
Mm.
know yeah, and sometimes we gotta let go of things. That's a big issue with a lot of women.
Mm.
um you take that space and you come back and she is still at that level,
Yeah.
instead of calming herself down so that you can talk and discuss whatever the issue is.
Right, right. And it's something also I recall years ago where Sandra used to always say, and we apply it now also, about attentively listening. You know, are you attentively listening to your spouse?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to pay attention, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Um, so what, in your opinion, what is the most biggest problem in a marriage? Is it the communication, sex? What have you seen the biggest problem? So that's for both of you, all three of you.
Okay, well, I'll take a stab at it first. It's
Okay.
a multitude of things, and again, it all bases around your mess. But if you wanted to categorize it, we could
Mm-hmm.
put communication first,
Mm-hmm.
being that women and men communicate different. Women
Mm-hmm.
nurturers and emotional beings, and we're that way because we take care of things and we take care of people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can be over communicators. Not just, at the same time, we multitask and communicate. We can be talking about the children at the same time. We're changing what what's our pattern of emotional intimacy for, and we're talking to the husband at the same time. We're talking
Yeah.
about children,
Yep.
talking about what we're going to do in the next 3 months. And it takes time for men to process all of this. Now,
Exactly.
we just
Yeah.
covered 6 months in 5 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah, I can relate. My husband, I'll say something, my husband may be like, "What?" He just stops me mid-sentence, and that bothers me sometimes. But then I learned that, Sharon, you're all over the place.
Uh-huh,
Like,
uh-huh.
you all stick to something and talk about that. But it's like he's like, "What are you talking about?"
But technically, you're not all over the place. It's just that you're handling everything all at once. And that's
Hmm.
how some
So
women,
my
not all,
mind
are
is,
built that way. And men
yeah,
usually do one thing at a time.
yeah,
And a lot of men, and Scotty, you can correct me if I'm wrong, have that fix it type
Mhm.
of, when they
Exactly.
hear you
hmm,
That's
talking,
true.
they
yeah,
immediately connect with, how am I going to fix this? And you're
mm,
just talking about things, and you may not even be looking for an answer. You're just sharing,
sharing, yeah,
Yeah, that's
communicating.
true.
Yeah.
yep.
And to him, he may have I just heard 50 problems. Wait.
Yeah,
You be
Yeah.
talking about that,
true.
Scotty.
Yep. Oh boy. So what have you guys noticed the biggest problem in a marriage that you've heard?
Communication, of course, as Sandra
Mm.
stated, that's top. That's
I've
always
heard that a lot. Yeah.
finances also a lot. We see it
Mm.
more in the younger couples than more the older or middle age.
Yeah,
Although,
they've learned how to connect.
right,
Yeah.
that financial component of the relationship, right? And
Interesting.
and I mean finances and just acceptance. Robin loves to talk to the couples about acceptance. It gets
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
steamy when you just sometimes have to learn how to accept your partner for who truly they are. You can't change them, but you can have conversations leading to them to reflect upon themselves and say, what do I need to change in this area?
Right.
You know, maybe I do need to take a step back for a moment and say, she's been or he's been saying this for 10 years now. So is it time for me to really reflect on, do I need to make a change in a certain area that upsets my mate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And as he said, it starts with that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So communication is very important. Like I always tell Scotty, with that communicating to connect to communicate. Um, it's about that connection too, which is time. We hear a lot of people talking about not having enough time together. With the
Mm-hmm.
way we are today in the world, most family are two income families. You wake up and go your separate ways, or as we've seen a lot of lately, he wake up and go one place, When he comes home, you're going to your place.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed in the way of marriages. And even in there's a lot of stay-at-home dads now too. So
Yes.
still a lot have changed, but
Mhm.
do you still need that time to connect and communicate?
Yeah, I've noticed that lately in our marriage personally. Like I was telling Sandra, we travel a lot. Now the kids are older, so we like to go to Florida, and we're in this, we go and we're in our one bedroom, sometimes two, mostly one, and we're just connected, and it's
Yeah.
great. You know, then when we
Mhm.
come back home, it's like we
The
wake
chaos
up.
starts again.
Yes, like he wakes up and goes downstairs to his office, and I'm upstairs and around the house and running errands, and it's like the connection is lost so fast. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, so then we long to get away again.
Yes, that's why we try our best
Hmm.
to there's a question that I do like to ask our oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead.
Okay, you're
You're
okay.
fine. Go ahead.
But
Ask.
there is a question that I like to ask them, but in that conversation with connection, it brought my mind there that
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I like to ask them what what do you remember about when you first started dating?
Mm,
Remember when you first started dating,
mhm,
and you got to try to keep that same kind of energy.
Mhm.
We always put our best forward. We wanted him or her to see the best in us.
right.
And so keep that date night. You
Mm,
might not be able to do it every week. Do it every couple of weeks.
yeah.
And remember, date night, you don't have to go out to do date night. COVID proved that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, what Robin is talking about is emotional intimacy and that quality.
Yes.
And
Yes.
let me just stress, if there was anything that I would like to share and I could just blurt it out without any penalties, I would say to the world, people,
Mm,
sitting down watching television together is the lowest form of emotional intimacy and quality time.
mm,
Rock bottom. If
yeah.
that's what you think that you are doing when you are together watching a television show, you are not scoring well with quality time and emotional intimacy. That
Mm,
is not, it is zero. You get 0 points for that.
wow.
Saying unless you like my husband, he got to make a questionnaire out of everything we watch. Oh. So we gonna connect out of everything we watch.
You're
What
connecting, but you're not emotionally.
he's like,
Is that because you're not communicating? It just,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Emotional connection, intimacy is building,
Mm,
um, and it's opening up, being vulnerable. I think it's kind of hard to watch a movie and be vulnerable at the same time. I've never tried it, but if somebody can figure it out, let me know.
mm-hmm,
It's about sharing your hopes and your fears, supporting each other. You're talking about your ups and your downs,
mm-hmm,
and your quality times. That's about relaxing, enjoying each other. If you find quality time watching television as a plus or a positive aspect for you,
mm-hmm,
um, I would ask you the question of what did you learn?
mm. Okay. Good
yeah.
That's what I would
question.
ask.
What
What did
did
you
you
learn?
learn?
What you
Okay.
know knew about him and what you know knew about her.
Got it.
Life is forever changing, and so are people.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Yeah, what my husband liked years ago when we first got married has totally changed, and what I like totally changed. So
Yes,
now,
yes.
yeah, yep, love it. Oh my goodness. Um, this is really good, and I like how Sandra said that you guys are first mentors to her, right? Is that,
Mhm,
yeah.
Did not know that.
Oh, well,
Yes, I did
I,
not know that.
Well, it would be nice to have mentors like that, that where do you find these mentors besides in the church? I know that and sometimes it's not easy to find them in the church
Mhm,
either.
mhm, mhm.
Um not knocking church at all. Loved church, believer. But how do you where do you suggest that we find marriage mentors as young women starting out?
Hmm.
I
Well, I would
suggest
have
that
to say, you can answer it, Robin, but I would say number one would be the church.
See the church.
I'm just putting a little humor
I
in.
would I would say I would
I
say
agree.
with
I do.
I would say there's always an auntie or and an uncle in your family
Hmm.
that has been married a long time. And I myself had an auntie and an uncle I looked up to as well as my parents.
Mm,
My parents was married over 40 some years before my dad passed away. My grandmother and grandfather was married over 40 some years until he passed away.
mm,
Um, I have an auntie. That auntie we all talk about.
mm.
She and her husband was married 40 some years until she passed away.
Yeah.
So there's always someone. Yeah, we look to the church, but we also have that ideal person within our family
Mhm.
too that that we can talk to and ask questions and that type of thing. My niece, I have a niece that tells us all the time, I'm Scotty, I'm riding, I'm gonna be just like y'all. When I get married, I was like, hold
Mhm.
on.
Right.
I said,
Mm.
hold on, you don't know what we've been through to get here.
Right.
You see, you
True.
see where we are now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
better know what you're saying because you don't know what you're gonna have to go through to get what we are.
Wow. Yeah. That is so true.
And let me just piggyback Sharon a little bit off
Mm-hmm.
of Robin because what she said, it just makes absolutely 100% sense, and especially when she's talking about look within your family.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of families that don't have that traditional settings of aunts with husbands and grandparents that are together.
Right.
Particularly in the Black culture, we have some breakdowns in our
That's
family
true.
of good
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
examples for
Yeah.
relationships.
That's
So
true.
if church
Mm-hmm.
happens to be not your place to go, I would say because of this booming rise of social media, there are so many mentor groups and
That's true.
things that you
Yeah.
can join and just feel the person out and give them a try
Yeah.
and see if you connect. And if
Mm-hmm.
you
Mhm.
do, then you have that model. One of the things Robin and Scotty do is they do present themselves as mentors quite often. They work with many of the couples that are in the marriage and relationships group, and
Mm-hmm.
they wind up becoming their lifetime mentor. So, and I think that those couples that reached out to them did not have that traditional background where auntie is has been married for
Right.
a long time and mother's been married.
Right. Right.
I would
That's
definitely
true.
encourage them to move
Mhm.
in that direction. Find a mentor.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, you're right, especially with technology. Like I put in a search, marriage counselors, and you came up, all the groups that there are.
There are so many.
There are so
Uh-huh.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can definitely get help. And um I did a video how you can find that help without having to pay a dime, even though I always suggest,
Yeah.
the counseling and the coaches because it's very helpful to have that hands-on. You need to talk verbally sometimes and can't
Yes.
talk to the computer.
Yes.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, we're running out of time, but I really enjoyed this so much. You
Thank
want
you
to,
for having
yeah.
us.
Oh, I'm so thankful that you came on. So thankful for all of you. You want to share where they can find you and join your group, your Facebook group, and
Okay.
whatever
Yes.
your services.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I'm at sandramentorship.com. I'm also on Facebook under Sandra Mentorship and counseling. And that's SandraMentorship.com. And if you're looking for Scotty and Robin, you can find them at.
We are on Facebook under Robin and Scotty Dominion Meeting Live. Also, we have a counseling service called Marriage Incorporated.
Awesome.
Right, that's not on Facebook yet. Right, they can reach us through
And
Facebook.
another place to reach them at is M.E.S.S.
Mars
Marriage and
relationship
on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. So if you guys could just slip me all those links, and I will put them under the video in the description box so they can find you guys. Okay. Because yes, I love it. And maybe later, Sandra, we can do another video and talk about the mess in detail with the and the menopause and all that. Because that would be very helpful. Yeah.
Absolutely, because M.E.S.S is been orchestrated into a book, and so it's a workbook. It's going to be a couples workbook.
Okay.
So yes, I'll be happy, and I'm going to be piloting that on couples.
Okay.
Piloting on Scotty and Robin too.
All right. Well, awesome. Would love to hear more about that. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in to I Love You Packages. Don't forget to check out my husband and I, his and her to-do list marriage challenge journals. It's a simple,
And that's the link.
yeah. And yeah, thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys. All right. You enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Sam.
Bye. Love you guys.
Love you.